Hello everyone. I'm happy that today we have the opportunity to deepen our understanding through problem solving. We'll focus on basic macroeconomic concepts, and the most important is GDP. As discussed, there are three main components to GDP. One is consumption, another is investment, and the last is government spending. Today, let's focus on government spending. There are key points regarding government spending, especially when solving problems. It tests your understanding of the concepts. GDP only considers new and final products. A few sets of services. Next, you need to pay special attention when it comes to government spending. It excludes all transfer payments. Basically, transfer payments refer to money the government owes to others, or, for example, money given for scholarships or donations. Essentially, this money is not used to purchase anything, nor does it fall under the category of new and final goods or services. So, you must be careful with transfer payments. A classic example of a transfer payment is when the government returns money to taxpayers, such as paying back taxes or pensions. These are considered transfer payments because, for instance, pensions are money the government already owes to citizens. Once we understand these basic concepts, it becomes much easier to tackle these questions. Alright, so among options A, B, and C, the first one, pension to retired regional, is definitely incorrect. As we just discussed, this is a transfer payment, meaning it's a transfer of money already earned, like salary paid during working years, now received as a pension. Alright, build a new public library. That's obviously a new product, so this definitely counts. As long as it's within the United States, it clearly falls under government spending. As for payment challenge, as we just mentioned, anything donated out before that is all considered transfer payments, so it doesn't count as government spending. Now, for DD, interest on national debt, this is also pretty obvious. It's the interest paid on debt. Clearly, this is also a type of transfer payment. So the issue with options A, C, and D is that they all fall under transfer payments, which means the only correct answer is B. You build a new public library. Okay, so this mainly tests whether you have a correct understanding of a very important concept in GDP, which is transfer payments. Now, let's look at this second question together. It's also quite interesting. Again, we need to be careful about whether government spending in this context actually counts toward GDP, because it must be for new services or new products. Second, it must be a final product, meaning it can't be an intermediate product, not an intermediate product, but a final product or service. Alright, let's take a look now. First, DOJ attorney salaries. When they pay their own attorney's salaries, that's for legal services they use. You pay them a salary, and they provide the corresponding service. So this counts as G, government spending. As for click on checks, as we already saw in the first question, that's a transfer payment, a kind of transfer. Because I already paid my roommate extra, of course you need to refund me. Okay, for the third question, C is a bit tricky. It says you bought a new actually, an old historical building. The issue is that it's old. Remember, for GDP to count in the current year's GDP, it has to be new production from that year, not secondhand. Second, it must be final. And third, it absolutely cannot be a transfer. Okay, transfer payments are definitely wrong. They cannot be counted. No transfers. Once you got these 3 points down, it becomes much easier to answer these questions. The last one says contribution to the UN budget. This is incorrect, because the UN does not operate entirely within the United States. Alright, so as we mentioned before, it has to be within US territory. So, in this question, the most obvious ones are that B is wrong, C is wrong, and D is wrong. So the answer is A, which means it refers to the lawyer's salary. Basically, it's about purchasing their services. Alright, that's all for today. I hope that by solving these problems, everyone can deepen their understanding of these fundamental macroeconomic concepts. Okay, bye-bye.